Hello and welcome to Team DSI's Advanced Leadership Webinar. I want to congratulate you for being on this webinar because this means you are one of the elite associates in Team DSI and in all of USANA. My name is Jared Krebs, Emerald Director, co-founder of Team DSI, and we have a very special guest with us today who's been with USANA for 24 years. He's in the $1 Million Club. He's built an amazing business, an amazing life with USANA as his foundation financially and with his health. And before we get into our guest talk, we want to just always remind you that amateurs sell the products, professionals sell the vision. Yes, it is important to create clients, but make sure that you show those clients everything USANA has to offer. Invite those clients to home events, invite those clients to webinars, invite those clients to big events in your city, or host events where you can show people what USANA could do for them financially, show them the community. And when you sell the vision, your business is going to go to another level. So just always keep that in mind. We're very proud of everything that you're doing. And with that being said, Dave Steinhaus is on the line. He's a $1 Million Club member, Ruby director, 24 years in USANA. I've always known Dave from seeing him at the events, and he's always been wonderful, very, very nice to talk to. But I am excited, Dave, to hear your story because I don't know it. I don't know what your journey has been like in USANA, and I am so honored that you took the time to be with us on our call today. The people that are listening to this call or will be listening to the recording want to know what your life was like prior to USANA. And what was some of maybe the big challenges you had to overcome as you built your business, and what is your life like today thanks to your USANA business, and also maybe talk about your work history and things like that. But we'll probably open it up for questions about 20 minutes in. But take it away, Dave. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a great person in our life. We really appreciate you, and we're excited to hear your story.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. And my story goes back to, late 1993, early 94, when I decided I needed to take better care of my health. My dad had contracted a terminal disease, and I didn't want to follow in those footsteps. And so I started looking around for a good nutrition product. And I'd go to the health food stores, and some pimply-faced high school kid would tell me all what I needed. And I couldn't ever find anybody that was definitive on what I should be taking to take better care of myself. And fortunately, a guy who became a diamond director was passing through Boise, and he signed up a friend of mine and told me about Dr. Wentz, the Dr. Wentz story, growing, 40 billion human cells a day for 20 years. And then he started a nutrition company based upon the science to keep those cells alive. And I said, okay, sell me some products. I want to take that. And he said, well, okay, I will, but wait, there's a way to make some money at this. And I said, okay, I could make some money. And at that point in my life, I'd been in construction all my life, started out after high school, not being really college material at that point. And so I worked construction. I learned all the different trades, and then I started taking classes at the local college, Boise State here. And I was taking drafting classes, and I got a job with Boise Cascade as a draftsman. And I did that for about 5 years, got laid off. Rather than get another job at that point, I took a year off and backpacked around the world, all over Europe, over to Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, came back across the Pacific, came back, and then I went to college and had a kind of a random career in construction management after that with my different sets of skills. And that's what I was doing when I was introduced to USANA. So I knew there was something better than working construction, running a small construction company for a family that didn't have any future really. And so when my friend told me, yeah, there's a way to make some money, I said, yeah, okay, tell me how. And being used to designing and drawing house plans and that type of thing, the compensation structure looked perfectly logical to me. And so took about 40 minutes. I was signed up with a 3 business center. And we started going through it. And I wish the video was working because I pulled out some of the original literature I have. And in those days, we had a product information book that was an 11 by 17, 2 pages of that folded in half. We had the essentials, which was the mega vitamin, chelated mineral, and mega antioxidant. We had a Nutrimeal and a Fibergy. That was our product line on black and white paper. And our compensation plan was called Rebuilding America, Our Changing World. It was the same size. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We had regular telephones and fax machines. We had to fax our applications in and our orders and all that. And so I started working the business. And I was so excited at the way I was starting to feel, you know, and not that I was ill or anything, but I was excited about the fact that I was able to have confidence that I was doing something positive. And so I think in that first like year and a half, I signed up like 80 people. And back then we didn't have preferred customers, so people that wanted the product, they had to just sign up. And it was $49.95 to sign up then. No preferred customer option. And so interesting thing is, the 55th person that I enrolled actually went to work and started building her own business below mine. And that's when the magic started happening, because I wasn't doing everything. And so it took, I'd say about 3 years to hit silver director, a little over 4 to hit gold. And I remained a gold director for probably over 10 years because I had diluted my efforts a little bit. I was working too many re-entries, and I couldn't advance because I wasn't maxing out more than one business center. But I was the first gold director to make it into the $1 Million Club. They counted it a little different then. I don't know if you could do that nowadays. So I was a $1 Million Club member as a gold director. And then over the past few years, I became a Ruby director. And the magic is the income keeps coming because, like I said earlier, I love to travel. I did that trip around the world when I was 25 years old. I just turned 65, and I've been able to go in my USANA career. I've gone to Africa twice for 2 months at a time. I've gone to Machu Picchu, hiked the Inca Trail. I've gone to the Caribbean, every country in Central America. And then in 2010, a group of 30-some USANA associates, we did Mount Everest Base Camp. So I've been able to have the freedom because I have a residual income. And throughout those years, not only has my income gone up, and some years it's just been stable. Not all years were growth years, but some years have been incredible growth years. And I have a very large, loyal downline that loves their business. So I have a lot of people in my group that work the way they want to work. Some work really hard, some work really slow. But it's all their choice. And I did a presentation down at corporate headquarters for USANA University. I think that's what Brian Douglas puts it on in November. And I did an illustration called The Tortoise and the Hare. And, the point being is I've just worked a long, steady business. I don't think I've made the headlines a lot as far as, I'm not a diamond director, 1-star, 2-star. But I know some diamond directors that are not in the $1 Million Club. And so it's this consistency that has kept my business thriving. It's kept me healthy. I have a lot of friends who are not healthy at 65 years old. I've had my mother on these products since I started. I buy her the essentials and either the Procosa or the calcium, MagnaCal now. every month. Sometimes she takes about half those because she's like 4'10" and weighs about 90 pounds. She just turned 93. Actually, she's almost ready to turn 94. Still lives at home. I bought her a car. I've been able to take care of her house for her. And so that's the things that, you get the rewards back by that long-term effort. And my last construction job, I signed up in USANA when I was working that company, running that construction company for a family business. 6 months into my USANA career, the boss and I had a conflict, and one of us had to go. Turned out it wasn't him. So that was the last job I ever had. I determined at that point to never get another job and let somebody else determine my future. And, it's been that determination, that commitment that has kept me working every day. I do something with my USANA business every day. Maybe I'll just make a couple phone calls, send a few emails. Some days I'll do 2 or 3 appointments. And the consistency of always keeping in the game and always reaching out to people and always being available for your downline to call you is what keeps the machine in motion. And I've known some people that have gotten to a certain point and thought, okay, this is easy, I'll just stop now. Well, it's like anything. I don't care if it's a sandwich shop, a coffee shop, a major store. There is, attrition in any customer base. If those customers are not appreciated and given acknowledgement for their purchases. So I've seen some people think they had it made and stop communications. Well, if you stop communications, people forget they're involved with you. So I always try to stay in communication with my organization. We do at least one get together a month, usually on the second Tuesday of every month, which we did last night. Went over the new literature that the company introduced at convention, and we had to do a different topic every week. Next month, we're going to do our training on telling your story, whether it's a story about losing your job, going around the world, or being at home as a mom that, you need more income, but you have to stay home. So anyway, we're going to work on our stories next week, and guests are always welcome. And if we have enough guests, we change it into an opportunity meeting at about the halfway point. But like I said before, it's the consistency of treating your business like a business and not taking it for granted. I always appreciate that I had USANA introduced to me and that I made a determination to work. Interesting thing, the guy that enrolled me as a distributor became a little bit disgruntled with, I don't know what the issue was, it's so long ago I don't remember. He quit. Now, I would hate to sign me up and quit. I've had other people that I've enrolled who have not really advanced like they should. They lose their focus. So stay focused and keep your head in the game is what I do. And it's that consistency that continues to drive my business, my health, my checks, my freedom. And, it's the freedom that is always so alluring to me. I can't imagine going back to a job. I consider myself at this point in my life unemployable. I've been offered jobs and I have looked at them with marked disinterest. I am simply not interested in having a job, having somebody dictate to me the time, the hours to be there, how much I'm going to make, where I have to go every day. I look at the road reports in the morning, and coming in into Boise, it's always a steady line of cars coming in from the bedroom communities, and in the evening they're lined up going back out. I don't have to get in that. I can choose when I leave my house. I usually leave about 6:30 anyway, go to the gym. I get to do that. So it's the freedom that is one of my big hallmarks. And, I don't need to make a lot of money right now. I just want to make really good money for a long time, which is kind of where I fall into my way of thinking. I just want that consistent long-term residual income. And USANA has provided that. It's been the best thing I've ever done. I never imagined I would do it as a career. But when I left my last job, I made a choice that I would never get another job. And that's what led to my long-term success. Is that, are we at the time limit here?
This is awesome, David. This is great. Learning so much from you. I love that you said that you do a get together with your team every month, and just to stay, in front of them and to keep those relationships with them. I think that's one of the smartest things. I think I'm going to take that and re-implement that and do something just social with our team locally here. Thank you for saying that. That's really great for me to take from and apply. And yeah, we're about at the time that people can ask questions. I also have some questions as well while people are. I'm going to let anyone who has a question go ahead first. Now, if you want to ask a question, go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself or send me a text or somehow make yourself known, and we will ask the questions, or you can ask the questions to Dave. While you all are getting ready with your questions, Dave, I want to ask you, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome in your business, and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge, I think, was accepting the reality of probably the reality of attrition, that sometimes people just go away and you don't know why, and they won't tell you. It's still a mystery to me, because I have no problems with approaching people, setting up appointments, doing presentations, following up, like the 7 steps that Eric Worre talks about in GoPro. But when somebody comes in so excited, enrolls, and then they disappear. At first, that was really, really discombobulating. Now it's just a mystery and kind of a challenge. And so I always try to stay very close to new associates, make sure they're getting everything they need, and make sure that when I present this to them, that I'm presenting it honestly and with the most reality that I can on what may or may not occur in their business.
That's very well said. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking about that with one of my team members yesterday, how really the key is not to take that personal, the attrition, and when clients and associates, stop ordering or stop doing stuff, and just to keep going, and to know that's just part of it, and not taking it personal or not getting feelings hurt is like really the key to being happy, yeah. Especially in this business, right?
Exactly.
So, that's phenomenal. All right. So do we have any other questions? I know we have several people on the line. Who wants to ask a question? We got 10 minutes. You got Ruby Director, $1 Million Club earner, Dave Steinhaus on the line. This is your chance to ask him any question that you want.
I do have a question. This is Randy here in Salt Lake. Dave, what do you do for long distance presentations? If you have someone that's long distance and you need to show or give a USANA presentation to them?
Well, the first thing I do is I'll go to Communication Edge and I'll select some videos and send them videos. And if I'm not like at my computer, with my phone, I'll go to YouTube, a lot of the same videos are on YouTube. And I will send usually about 3 videos. And none of the really long ones, like maybe the 2-minute one with Dr. Oz, maybe the 9-minute one with Kate Northrup for ladies, or This is USANA. And I'll make sure they're familiar with things. And with Kate's video, it does have a pretty good compensation plan section in there. Mm-hmm. And just different things that people are. And then I prefer to do things by telephone, but calling, texting, and then online enrollment. Usually I take that down verbally, right? And I still carry the paper applications everywhere I go. Okay. Fill that out because I'm not the greatest typist. And so I can write it out a lot better and then input it once I'm done with the appointment. And then for follow-up, just keep them on my associate email distribution list and add them to USANA Idaho, and then give them, USANA United States, Facebook memberships, hybrid solutions, that type of thing. Keep them in the loop so they're getting an education as they get their business going. And like I said, a lot of it's new to me. Well, it's not that new now, but I did enroll in 1993. Oh. But like I said, back then we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers, and there was not much long distance then. We would drive. We would drive places a lot. Don't have to do that so much now.
Right. Very true. All right. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Who else has a question? We have 8 minutes left with top Ruby Director, $1 Million Club member. Oh, we have a question from Adriana Perez. What keeps you motivated and focused to keep going even through the tough times?
That is a good question. I don't care who you are. Different days, the tough times come along, and you can't get people to answer the phone. I bet I've sat in 100 coffee shops when people didn't show up. And so, they don't call, they don't show up. And, I've just gotten used to entertaining myself in other ways when that happens. Maybe not 100 times, but at least probably 50. And, at first I took it real personal. One time I was sitting there with a young lady, and her prospect, I was going to do a presentation for her prospect, didn't show up. She actually broke down and started crying because she was so disappointed. Well, I don't start crying, but sometimes it hurts, the credibility. But I think what keeps me pushing through those hard times is just my determination to have some success in my life and not have a result of what other people do. Early on, people used to say, oh, that's network marketing. That's a pyramid scheme. You can't do that. Well, I take statements like that as a personal challenge. When somebody tells me I can't do something, that means I do it all the harder. And that attitude seems to have paid off. I guess that's it on that.
That definitely has paid off. I love that attitude. I have the same attitude. Just that focus when, like the resolve when someone drops out or when someone leaves, my resolve just gets even stronger. I just get even more focused. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think we have another question here. Renee Martinez, Top Silver Director, asks, what are you most excited about USANA now versus 23 years ago with the company and products?
Let me think about that for just a sec. Well, what I'm most excited about now, especially since, they introduced the Cell Essentials and the intelligence technology last year. Now they're integrating that into the Cell Aviv, the new skincare line. What I'm most excited about is I don't have to worry about how to make a product. The company does so much for us. They develop the products, the literature, they do the accounting, they send out the checks, they keep manufacturing at tip-top shape. And it removes all those things from me having to do that. And just knowing that we have the backup of the best product in the comparative guide. Now they even created a new category for us, the platinum category over the gold category. And just knowing that I'm in the best company, it keeps me excited. It keeps me knowing that we're not just in a company that developed a product 23 years ago and said, okay, we're done developing products. No, we stay on top of it. And, this might sound a little funny to a lot of people, but, the ingredient list on the I don't know what's in these products. I couldn't tell you how many milligrams or international units were in any of it. Probably not one thing. But we have a book, and we have Ask the Scientist, we have Dr. Wentz, we have those guys. I feel, my job is marketing. And it's like if I was selling, Acuras, I wouldn't have to know how to build one to sell it. I just tell people how good it was. And that's how I approach my USANA business. Tell people how good it is, and then provide them with the evidence if they need it, without trying to force it on them. But it's just knowing that I'm with the best company and that we're not being left in the dust by anybody anywhere out there.
Yes, absolutely. It's phenomenal. Okay, Lillian Galdiano asks, what is your favorite video to share with new prospects?
Like I said, it depends on the new prospect. If it's a woman, I like either the one by Kate Northrup, I think it's 9 minutes. There's a 7-minute one by Carmen Marshall. There's a little 2-minute one by Dr. Oz that I always send. If people are more interested in the business, like the 12-minute compensation plan video, the This Is USANA video gives a great overview. It's got a lot of good interviews with some well-established leaders. And so it kind of varies from person to person. But, one thing I always tell my associates in my group, if you're going to send a video, you better watch it first. You better know what it is you're sending.
Yeah, good point.
So if you go through the videos and take an hour watching 6 or 7 of them, you'll know what to send.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Dave. And we have one last question from Executive Gold Director Viola Krebs. Go ahead, Mom.
Dave, do you have a lot of young associates, and what do you do to keep them motivated and focused?
I've got a scattering of younger ones, but fortunately, I'm getting a lot of people in their 40s, which I guess to me that's young now, but for like the people in their 20s, they kind of baffle me because I don't connect. I don't know what motivates them at what degree. So I reach down to my younger people, see if they can bridge that gap, because that's a challenge for me as well. But I always try to put my head into where they're at and try to understand. I try to understand where they're coming from. I may not always be successful in that understanding, but I always make an effort to work with, try to make connections down the age range when I'm working with people, and hopefully, as we continue to develop, we'll get more people of those age groups.
So what I'm hearing is you start to want to connect the 40-year-olds with the 20-year-olds?
Yeah, because, I'm 65 years old. I guess I could take Social Security if I wanted it, but it hasn't occurred to me to apply for that. And, I know when I was in my 20s, if I saw somebody who was 65, I'd say, God, whose grandpa is he? And so I try to remember that maybe I'm not as cool as I like to think I am, but I'm going to try to find somebody else that's maybe a closer connection, because
Okay.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you look phenomenal too. I mean, you've been with USANA all those years. You're a walking billboard, obviously, for the company because you do look great.
A product of the product.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us and share your story. It was very inspiring. I love hearing about how you're able to take care of your mother and, how the products have kept you and her in tip-top shape. Not only that, but that you've enjoyed freedom in your life for a long, long time from having a job. And I love the tortoise versus the hare concept that, it's not for you. It's not about making a ton of money, but getting paid very well consistently. And that's really what you've done over these years. And so thank you so much for sharing your story. I got a lot out of it. I know everyone did who's listening. And we actually have this recorded in a YouTube video we'll be able to send you as well so that you can use it and share with other people. Okay. Now you have your own video. Dave.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll look forward to staying in touch with you and seeing you at the next big USANA event. And everybody, let's unmute the lines and everyone say thank you, Dave, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dave.
it. Have a great day.
Have an awesome
Dave.
day.
Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Dave. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.